Hi guys, my name is Arnoldo Mora and I'm going to talk to you about Ethereum Blockchain, which is a new blockchain technology that was launched in 2015. It's very recent. So I'm going to talk about the key concepts that you need to understand about this ecosystem in order to be able to develop basic apps around it. And the first concept is what is a blockchain? So a blockchain is just a chain of data blocks that keeps increasing and adding to its own history. And then that blockchain is shared around all the members of a network. So each member of the network has a copy of the whole blockchain, and they communicate between them to keep adding to the whole, to each copy where new processing tasks are coming in. So there's a lot of work occurring down there, okay? One very basic thing to understand is what's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, because we have heard a lot about Bitcoin, not that much about Ethereum. So the difference is that Bitcoin is a blockchain technology designed to share a cryptocurrency on top of it, and Ethereum is a blockchain technology designed to build whatever you want on top of it. So it's a powerful shift, what's happening between them. And there's this concept of decentralized apps, which are just apps which behavior and state lives in a blockchain at the Ethereum network. So that's very powerful to build very secure apps and distributed systems. For example, building voting systems, legal contracts, cryptocurrencies, and everything else that you will want to imagine that you will want to share the state across all the network. There's a contract language inside Ethereum, which is called Solidity. It's a high-level language, very similar to JavaScript. And with this language is that you will write contracts that will define the behavior and the rules of any app that runs in the Ethereum network. So you can just build code to make the rules that you want to implement in a voting system or in a legal contract, and that will be made in this language. There's also this concept of Ether and gas. Ether is just the cryptocurrency that the Ethereum community uses, and gas is a concept. Gas is something that is priced in Ether. And why do we need something called gas? We need it because in these blockchain networks, the peers are making computations to solve the validations and the processes to add new blocks to the blockchain. So that service is being paid to the nodes, to the miners that are solving those algorithms. And that's why we need something called gas. So if I want to do an operation in an Ethereum network, I will have to pay some gas, and that gas will be used to pay the miners for their processing work, okay? There's also another interesting concept, and you will not understand this joke until I explain what a DAO is. And basically, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's an organization like a company or whatever you can imagine as an organization, which behavior and rules are declared in a Solidity Ethereum contract. So that's very powerful because you can now create companies that will only operate under those rules declared in a code contract. And there's a main example of what a DAO does, and it's the main DAO of the Ethereum community. This is a DAO that was created in order for the members of the community to put Ether inside that DAO. And then there will be some kind of investment proposals in which the community will vote in which Ethereum projects they want the community money to go invested into. And it's important to know about DAO, if you are going to talk about Ethereum, because there was a big mistake in the main DAO in the middle of the last year, and the community had invested $120 million into the DAO, and some hackers discovered how to drain money out of DAO. So there were $15 million lost from that DAO, and there was a big scandal around it. The two main things that are important to understand at this level about that emergency and scandal is that that was solved by forking the whole Ethereum project. The community ended deciding to fork the whole project. And so now you have the official Ethereum and like a ghost Ethereum, which was the state of the network before that attack. And that's a big scandal between Puritans and more open people. Some of them saying that should never be done because you are now putting humans doing some forky things inside the network. But things keep going. And so that's what the joke is about, is the community gave the money to the DAO and the DAO put it on fire. But this also, the second thing that is very important to understand, that was not a problem in the Ethereum network. The problem was not there. The problem was a bug in a particular contract. So you have to be very careful of how do you write your contracts, because you can make big mistakes like this one. So what's next? What's happening from here? Ethereum is very popular today, and one of the big facts about it is that last week or 2 weeks ago, 30 of the biggest technology companies in the United States decided and published that they were building a collaborative fund to put their money in and invest in Ethereum to make it become like the basic operational layer for fintech. So some of the companies involved are companies like Microsoft, Intel, JP Morgan. So this has been one of the biggest announcements in Ethereum life, and the price of the Ether went 50% up last week because of this announcement. So I think it's a great time to learn how to start developing Ethereum apps, and you can do it with JavaScript. So I'm going to talk about some of the tools that you can use in order to build decentralized apps using just JavaScript. The first one is called TestRPC, which is an Ethereum client and testing local network that you can install in your machine, so you will be able to simulate like you are talking with the real Ethereum network. It's a Node.js based project, by the way. There's also Truffle framework, which is a JavaScript framework that will helps to make very easy many of the details of development. It simplifies how to compile Solidity contracts and put them into a network. It makes life really easy, and it's like a basic development layer to do many things around it. There's also Web3.js, which is a JavaScript API to build decentralized apps with JavaScript, and what it makes is it helps you communicate with a client node or with a testing network like TestRPC. Okay. So I had a small app I built, and it's published in this repo, and it helps you see what is the basic configuration to be able to start building JavaScript apps around Ethereum. What this app is doing is basically it's declaring a solidified contract. Truffle compiles it, migrates to your TestRPC local network, and then through Web3.js you are able to interact with a whole JavaScript app with Webpack and all the things that we already know. It's very simple to use. You will just have to install TestRPC, run it, clone the repo, do npm install, of course, install Truffle, compile the contract, migrate it to your TestRPC network, run the app, and call Truffle serve, and you have a full app running up. And what this app is doing is very simple. It's handling a very simple contract. It's a simple contract which has a constructor function which sets a balance of 1,000. And I just want to make clear that this balance is not Ether. It's just something that I declared as balance. So it's a virtual balance. It's not real money. So I will not make the same mistakes of the DAOs or something similar with it. And it also has a function that lets any account to add to that balance. Okay. And that's basically what I had done. And I will show you some of the things that are inside the app. So here I will just run TestRPC that's starting a network, an Ethereum network in my local machine. Then I will do Truffle compile to compile the contract. Truffle migrate. Here I'm publishing the contract into this network, and you can see that something happening in the network. Then I will do npm run build for the app, Truffle serve, and when that's ready, you can see the app. It has just the initial balance, and I can add something to that balance. And when I add something to the balance, you can see that this network is taking some actions. And here you have the fuel level of the account that is making that transaction. So you can see that it costs gas to that account, okay? And here you can see it has a block number, and it has some special reference to the transaction. And we know that this is running in an Ethereum network because if I go here and stop the app and then run it again, we can see that it will not have the balance declared in the constructor. It will keep, I'm refreshing the server, and it keeps the balance that I write it to it because it's running in this network. The only way in which this will return to the initial state is if I stop this network and rerun it again, which is impossible to do if it was running in the real Ethereum network because it's decentralized in all of their nodes. So that's basically how this works, and I hope this helps you to get started with it. Thank you.